What is up, everybody? We have 12 weeks left, and I wanted to change up the format a little bit. Instead of doing like clips of my workouts throughout the week, I wanted to focus on a single topic. This week is definitely going to be focused on recovery. I learned the most about recovery after RASP. RASP is the Ranger Assessment Selection Program that you have to go through to actually get into the 75th Ranger Regiment. It's about 2 months long, and you pretty much just get smoked the entire 2 months. You have to do a bunch of physical tests, ruck march, sleep in the woods, and you pretty much just get destroyed for 2 months straight. After that, I was absolutely destroyed, and my knees were just shot. I didn't want to get a profile because when you show up to a new unit with a profile, you're usually forced into an admin position, and it's super hard to get out of those admin positions once you're in there. Now, on my free time, during one of the weekends or after work, I went to the regimental PT, who's a physical therapist. That's an officer that's separate from our battalions or separate from our actual medics. So there was the separation where I could actually sneak in. And the officer wanted to put me on a dead man's profile, pretty much a profile where you can't do anything at all, and then also get x-rays for my knees. I definitely didn't want to do that. I begged him not to actually put me on a profile and just pretty much forget that I was there. But he reluctantly said okay and didn't put me on a profile. He called me an idiot, but he did give me a bunch of good workouts, exercises and stretches that I could do for my knees to actually help them out. And then he gave me a bunch of ibuprofen, Ranger candy, which are 500 to 800 milligram ibuprofens, and then a little knee brace. It was a little band brace that helped a little bit take off the pressure of my knees when I was running and then recovering. So it took about 3 months to actually get back to 100% from the time I got to actual regiment. So it probably took about 3 times to 5 times longer than it really should have to recover from my knees being being shot. But I did learn a lot about actual recovery in those 3 months. I had to suffer through it, and I had to work really hard after work doing those workouts and icing my knees and making sure that I properly recovered them every day after work, just because the day-to-day operations of being a private or just being in regiment is so taxing on your entire body. Every day I had to make sure that I properly recovered and got good sleep and try to eat well, try to stay away from the alcohol, especially on the weekends. But that's when I really learned that recovery is important to take care of your body and be a good maintenance tool. That was really also solidified when I was at NCO. I went to an Athletes Performance Institute. They came to regiment and put on this seminar that was about 3 to 4 days, where they went through proper warm-ups, job-specific exercises, and then a full day or two of just recovery and nutrition. And that really solidified how important rolling out is, how important stretching is, how important massage and hot and cold treatment really is for your body to actually come back 100% or even better from your actual exercises and reduce the amount of injuries that you got. Now, recovery is really one of those things where you have to try and mix and match and do a bunch of different techniques, just because there's so many techniques and workouts and philosophies and things that you could do for actual recovery, where it may work for some people and it may not work for you. So I kind of just mix and match all the things that I've learned in the military and when I was a personal trainer, and then some research that I've done, and I just made this kind of protocol that I do after every workout, or I try to do it after every workout. Like, even though I've had setbacks and I've had injuries, I still have to force myself to do recovery, because it's not one of those things where, you know, you feel the burn or you feel a pump and you know that you're actually doing something. It feels better, but usually if something feels good, you don't, for some reason in my brain, I don't think it's actually helping, which is probably one of the stupidest things that somebody could actually think. So on top of rolling out and and other stretching and protocols that I actually do after my exercises, the big thing that I do is my taper week, our low impact week. Now, I usually do 3 hard weeks for this training cycle, since I've been doing mostly running. I've been doing 3 weeks on hard, pretty much as hard as possible, and then I do 1 taper / low impact week. And last week was that. So basically I just try to keep the same intensity, but on a bike. So I just cycled. So every day that I would have ran, I just went on the bike and tried to keep that same intensity. I ended up getting about 95 miles total on the bike. On Monday, it was a pretty crazy day. I drove back from Virginia for the 4th of July on Sunday and got back pretty late. And then I had a crazy day at work, so there wasn't much I could really do. I only got 15 miles, and I tried to hit them pretty hard on my bike. So I got 15 miles in, and then I did a little bit of body workout after that, some push-ups, sit-ups, and some other core workout. On Tuesday, I took a rest day because I was pretty much in Boston all day and all night. And then I forgot what else happened, but there was something that was crazy that happened on Tuesday. I didn't actually get a workout, but on Wednesday I hit it hard again. On Wednesday I did a 20-mile bike on the trail. I did a 20-mile bike on the trail, and I really tried to push it, and I really tried to keep the pace control, the cadence on my actual pedals to try to keep it going. I can only kind of maintain about a 16 mile per hour. I think it's mile per hour. I'm not quite sure on the biking terminology, but about 16 miles per hour to 16 and a half miles per hour on my bike, and that's when I'm really pushing it. It's really insane to me that like people can steadily push like 20 to 25 miles per hour on their bikes. I still don't understand how they do that. I guess that's why some of the secular guys have huge quads or something. That's good. On Thursday, it was another really hard stationary bike workout. So on that one, because I kind of drew back on Wednesday, my legs were a little bit fresh. So I pushed probably a little bit too hard on Thursday, and I really cranked up the resistance on that day. And once again, I was like completely soaked. I was just walking around like I went swimming. But after that actual workout, I did 20 miles, and then I did some accessory work for arms and triceps and a little bit of shoulder and core workout. On Friday, I went out on the bike again. I hit the trail, and I was kind of racing the sunset. I don't really like to bike that much when it's dark out, just because there's a crap load of bugs out on this trail. It's pretty cool because it's like the light bugs, or what are those bugs called? Lightning bugs? Oh, the fireflies. The fireflies are ridiculous on this trail. It's like if you if you took psychedelics, you'd probably be going crazy, because on each side it's just like pretty much glitter on each side. So it looks really pretty, but then the bugs like hit you in the face and you just get destroyed by bugs while you're riding your bike. So I was chasing the sunset on that day. I ended up getting 20 miles again. On Saturday, I went to the gym again, hit the stationary bike. That day was a pretty chill day. Just listened to a podcast. The new podcast that's coming out, that has been coming out lately, is Two Bears, One Cave. It's Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, and that's a super funny podcast. It's super funny podcast because they've known each other for so long, so their banter is really funny. And Bert Kreischer's kind of like kind of ridiculous, and then Tom Segura is a funny medium that always antagonizes him. Yeah, so I listened to that. That was really funny. I definitely recommend checking out some of those podcasts. I really like listening to comedy podcasts because it's kind of like an escape. I don't know how some people will be training for running or training for a triathlon or a cycle or an endurance race, and then they listen to running or cycling or endurance race, or they're businessmen and then they listen to business all day, and then they go to the gym and listen to business podcasts. At some point, you really have to like turn off your mind and just, do something that you actually enjoy that's other than what you're doing at the moment. I really think that's actually part of recovery, is that mental well-being of just turning your brain off and, focusing on something that's other than your mission or your task that you're actually working toward. So on Sunday, we just chilled, did absolutely nothing. There was no active recovery. There was no proper nutrition. Just drank some beers and ate some food and watched Stranger Things season 3. It was pretty good. Definitely check that out also. So that was the week. It was 95 miles total on the bike. Pretty much 20 mile intervals each, except for the 1 15-mile. I got in a lot of good recovery. I made sure that I was hitting the foam roller pretty much after every workout. And then I also got a lacrosse ball. But that was the week. It was a really good week. It was fun to change up my actual exercise and change up what I was doing. My butt's a little bit sore because it's not used to being in the saddle and just sitting on that hard plastic seat. It's pretty weird that there's so many people that bike and they still have a seat that just destroys your gooch. If you don't know what a gooch is, don't look it up. But you have to roll with what you got, and you have to adapt to your actual situation, how your body is reacting to your workouts. Find a way to keep that intensity. Don't just give up. If you get an injury or if you get some pain or anything like that, you have to figure out a way to actually keep going and keep that intensity. Biking, and I want to start implementing swimming, is definitely my way to keep my cardio up and keep my actual intensity up throughout the week. So make sure that you go out there, adapt, overcome, and get out there and get it.